Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's beyond the new year because the new year really started in December, but we're starting this year with a bang. I'll tell you that much. Mars, at the beginning of the year, conjuncted the galactic center, which is kind of really an interesting trek because I was obsessed with the galactic center. And the galactic center, all of our star systems, all of our galaxies travel around a center. And our center is the galactic center. It's in 27 degrees Sagittarius. And I couldn't get this out of my mind, this galactic center that was coming in. And of all the years I have been studying astrology, I came to the realization that our Milky Way is going around the center of truth because the galactic center is in the sign of Sagittarius, and it's all about expanding on our truth. So I thought that that was very interesting to start this year. And the last time, um, Mars hits the galactic center, I think every 2 years, but I think some years are more powerful than others. And we are going into an eclipse cycle this year that is the same eclipse cycle that was in 2005. And I'm thinking that when Mars conjuncted the galactic center, that's when I went to see Baba G. So I really feel that he opened up a new pathway of truth for me. So that is kind of like an insight for what's going to be happening this year on several levels. In Light Body Academy, we have been clearing away structures within us to reveal the truth of who we are. And 2024 is going to be a year that we are going to continue doing that so that in 2025, a lot of our scaffolding and structures that are no longer valid, but we're kind of like are going to be kind of like behind us so that we can be going into a creation stage of what we want to manifest. So I guess the purpose of this year is manifesting truth through talents that are essential to our purpose. And I think we have got insight to this in 2020 when the world came to a standstill. And I keep going back to that year because to me, everything stopped to give. And as it stopped, and as we came to this 0 point, we had the capacity to see two paths. One path was to follow this established structure of what reality is, what our government was, what our medical system was, what our military was. We had, I think that was a presidential election. I mean, it just went crazy, crazy, crazy. And but on the same token, many of us really got a wake-up call to decide, do we want to follow that path that's been established, or do we want to break away from that and go into our own purpose of what is our reality? It started us going through our questioning, our phase of questioning. So this year is going to be the more of that. It's we have been going into our ancestral lineages and deciding what we want to take forward with us and what we want to heal. And so we are going to be doing more of that this year. In fact, we are also, it's also in line with the plan of not only are we aligning with our truth, but we're also in that 2-year portal of the Syrian Stargate, which is now, I thought about that. What is the Syrian Stargate? It sounds really um glamorous. We're going into the Stargate. You see these films about the Stargate, and you go through the Stargate, and magical things happen. It's kind of like that, but different. Because the Syrian Stargate is all about our blueprint pattern. It's all about having awarenesses so that we can make choices of how we want to create our essential self. Now, the sun has been coming forth and has had a lot of activity. So the sun has been aiding in us, kind of hearing whisperings within ourselves, that little voice within ourselves, to that intuition, that intuitive part of ourselves that we have to start listening to. But oftentimes we don't get a clear picture of what those intuitions are until we clear some stuff away. So that's what we're in. We're all in the process of that right now. So this month is the beginning of aligning with our truth. And all throughout the year, Neptune is a planet of dissolving, but it affects the collective. So throughout this year, all the way into the beginning of next year, it's going to go through its final stages of dissolving anything that is not aligned with our own. Let's see, it's dissolving anything that's not aligned with. I lost my train of thought here. That's Neptune. It's dissolving my brain as we speak. Um, let's see, Neptune. I'm sorry, I just lost it right here. Um, let's go back to 2011 when Neptune is a transpersonal planet. Each of the planets have their qualities. And we talked about the personal planets, which are Mercury, Venus, the Earth, and then those are the personal planets. Those are how we govern our everyday lives. And then we have the social planets, which is Mars. It's how we initiate our interaction with each other. And Jupiter, what our belief system as a collective. And Saturn is how we structure our collective together. It's kind of like the rules that we follow. But then we have the transpersonal planets. Those planets affect groups of people that come in at particular time periods. So each of those planets stay in the constellations for longer periods of time, so that oftentimes people born at the same time that you were born will have similar ideas. So Uranus takes 7 years to go through a particular sign of the zodiac. Neptune takes 14 years to go through a particular sign in the zodiac. And Pluto takes anywhere from 8 years to 20 years to go through a sign. So this is bringing me back to Neptune. Neptune entered the sign of Pisces in 2011, just before 2012, the big year of us aligning with the galactic center, so to speak. So from that time, as we aligned with our solar system, aligned with the galactic center, truth was revealed. People started waking up to that. But on the same token, Neptune, a transpersonal planet, we as a group, we as a collective have decided to slowly dissolve all the belief systems that we had before. What we're doing is we're developing a belief system that is aligning with our true center. We're not following the rules of how the religions have put things together or how the government has put things together. It's giving us that insight of what no longer serves us. So it's also helping us tap into our intuition at a deeper level. So that said, Neptune is in the last year of his 14-year reign in the sign of Pisces. So we are in the last stages of dissolving belief systems and following the rules as we have been told, especially through religion, so that we can tap into our intuition at a deeper level. So that said, Saturn is also in Pisces at this time. So it's helping us restructure the core of us so that we can restructure, going inside of ourselves and formulating how we want to bring forth our intuition. So some of the actions that we can take are we're taking action to develop accountability and integrity and consciousness, but we're doing it through our intuition. We're consciously letting go, really using self introspection to restructure that what we wish to become. This year, anything that we have outgrown, we must discard. So if you are trying to hold on to a personality trait or a relationship or whatever, it's a time to discard that this year. Even your relationships with your family or an old family are a habit. Habits are really good to let go of this year. And going into yourself through meditation is one of an ideal ways of getting in touch with that. This is a year of practicing being a witness, standing back and witnessing the life around you. And we have that practice in essentials where we take ourselves behind our eyes and view the world behind us. That is something that we must develop. It's essential for us to develop that this year, really being the witness, really being behind our eyes. It should be something that we practice every single day. We have to really trust our intuition this year. This is a service to ourselves and the collective. The more we can demonstrate our truth, the easier it is for others around us to express their truth. I mean, how many times have we been in an uncomfortable situation and we want to say something that we really don't want to say, and we say it, and the person we're with saying, I was thinking the same thing. It allows them to come forth with their truth. And as difficult as that may be, this is a time to really step out of our comfort zone and express the truth of what we're feeling in the moment. Whether it's true or not, expressing it it opens up our energy patterns so that we can open up the energy patterns for those around us. Through doing that this year, our unique gifts are being revealed, and that the more we can clear ourselves out, the more we are going to understand the talents that are deeply hidden within ourselves. And actually, this is being activated by the sun as we speak. The sun has had, in fact, actually, we're entering into a sunspot cycle this year that's we're supposed to have a tremendous increase of sunspot and solar flares and everything you can think about with the sun this year. Now, I was doing a little research on that, and I know that the last time we had a solar storm to a great magnitude was 1859. Now, that sounds like it's far away, but what happened is the solar storm was so strong at that time. Um, all the telegraph offices were kind of blowing out, and it just blew out everything. It fried everything. So we are in the same cycle of that this year, but that's not to be, feared or anything like that. But at the same time that that was happening, a resurgence of spirituality started. All the great teachers started coming in. Like, I don't know if Krishnamurti, but I mean, there were a bunch of teachers that started coming in. Oh, the Theosophical Society, Blavatsky came in. All these people, Sri Yuktivar, and he was the teacher of Yogananda, and Lahiri Mahasaya. All these spiritual leaders started coming in. All the spiritualism started coming in. Houdini, who practiced spirituality. So these sunspots that we are going through are not only amping up the electromagnetic field of our planet, it's activating the electromagnetic field within our own sun, within our own heart. So, therefore, going into deep meditation at this time is really essential to tap into parts of your being that have been long hidden, that we haven't been able to express. But we know they're there. They're nigglings of what we want to change in our lives. We know that something's on the verge of happening. It's kind of like going to that movie, The Matrix, where Neo's sitting there and the computer comes up and he says, you've been wanting to know something for a long time. You know something isn't quite right. Well, we are on the verge of opening up to that reality of what is right within us at this time. So that said, since our sun is a reflection of the universal energy around us, and it's bringing forth this pranic energy, and it's bringing forth this breath of life for our whole solar system. It's also being a lens where our star seed elders can activate those programs within us that have been long hidden. From what I understand, and what I have been understanding, is the human body is very, very valuable. All these starseed nations gave bits and pieces of DNA to our system that help us understand, to help us be these sentient beings that I don't think exist anywhere in all the universes. Now, this is a big statement to say, but I think that all what we are on the verge of now is all those patterns that have been long hidden very, very, very deep inside of ourselves are now being activated. So that's why, again, meditation is really, really, really important to come forth with that. So each of the star, like I said, each of the star nations have contributed to our human beingness, and they're coming forth to open parts of our creator consciousness that we have not touched yet. But throughout this year, we are going to be eliminating that anything that is not essential to us so that we can open up to this part of ourself that has long been hidden. So it's a very, very important year of elimination so that we can start touching parts of ourselves so that we can become these creator beings that we are meant to become. I don't know. I've totally lost myself here. I don't know if anybody has any questions up to now. I'd really appreciate something.
Ray, can we circle back to the things that keep on kind of coming into my awareness that feel like they're very impactful right now are Neptune and that Mars frequency, as well as the Syrian Stargate stuff. I feel like something else is getting stirred up right now that's connected astrologically. So I don't know if it's because of those things or if there's something else. But it feels like there's just like a new shift happening.
Well, there is a new shift happening, and I think it's through the solar storms that are bringing forth. I think that that's part of it. But this year started out with a bang. First of all, Mars aligned with the galactic center. So the whole year is the theme for the year is truth. Neptune is in its last stages of Pisces. So it's dissolving anything, especially, we have been taught as a species not to trust our intuition. And that Neptune piece is really, really helping us get in touch with that intuitive part of ourselves. But we can't get to that. I mean, we can get to it through meditation. We have the aid of our star elders, and each of us, have particular affinities towards some of the star nations. This, the Arcturians are all about frequency. And the Syrians are all about our blueprint. And the Pleiadians is all about our Akasha. It's all about the libraries, the ancient libraries. So if we have any of those parts within ourselves that need to be activated, what can be activated now through calling to the Arcturians is, it's energetic healing. It's, the foods that we eat. What are the energies behind them? The crystals that we hold, what are the energies behind them? The music that we listen to, what is the energy behind that? It's going into meditation and utilizing. Oh, Louise, you have to do with the fragrances. That's all about frequency, and it activates a frequency within ourselves. So these are things that we can be doing right now to accelerate that part of ourselves. So going to that Arcturian frequency, it's about harmonics. We have to be very mindful about what we surround ourselves in a harmonic level at these times. So we can, AI is supposed to, it's amping up and amping up and amping up. And I think I heard something this year that, I'm not sure, something about the AI, the program. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but getting back to the Neptune. So Neptune is dissolving that part of ourselves that no longer want to follow the status quo. So, okay, so some of the things, Arcturians, if you have that within our DNA system, that has to do with frequency. The Syrians has to do with form. What forms, what structures, what scaffolding do we want to change within our lives? That's, making it very simple. It's kind of like, what have we outgrown? What no longer serves us? What patterns have we based our lives on that no longer serve us? That's all about Syrian frequency. And this is amping up. So we have a lot of help from the Syrians to open up to those parts of ourself that we wish to change. And the parts that we want to integrate. The parts, having a list of what we want to bring into our lives and manifest as part of our patterns in our everyday life. The Pleiadian has to do with going into our records. It has to going into our family lineages. It has to do with our kasha. It has to do with, just going inside of ourselves and deciding what's really, really important and what we want to eliminate. I know I feel like I'm repeating myself in all of these things, but the veils are thinning so that we have the capacity to touch these things. Now, let's see, Stacy, you said there's something else behind everything. I think with the Neptune qualities and Saturn in Pisces and Neptune in Pisces, I think I wrote this down here. What's beyond that? It's just all about, trusting our intuition. So I don't know. For some reason, I don't know if you know what, I come to think of it, this is really interesting. Come to think of it, the last time I talked about Neptune, I totally lost this. I got the same thing. I think I have a lot of Neptunian qualities within myself, and I got to be going into my intuition. I think the same thing happened the last time I talked about Neptune. So for some reason, I go into this mind melt about it. So let's see what else. Stacy, did that help at all?
Yeah, it really did. And actually, what an amazing data set for you to get around your what's coming up for you around Neptune. That'll be definitely something to start working on, because
Oh, it is.
that's what I'm saying. That's what there's something like that. I got a big flash around Saturn. There feels like there's something coming in around Saturn that you were about to touch on that feels very relevant in even like with the group. There feels like there's some sort of thing coming up around Saturn energy. And it sounds like Louise is on it too. That feels important.
Yeah, I also wanted to ask you to say more about the Syrian Stargate, because I think that is very connected with the Saturn energy that's coming forward.
What is the Syrian Stargate, especially this month, is going to be activated again. I think I wrote it down. No, actually, here it is. February, we are entering into the Syrian Stargate again. Okay, so it was activated last spring. Okay, and usually the Syrian Stargate or portal, and I want to make this so it's really simple. It's when we're talking about a portal, that means that there's an opening within us that we are able to tap into to look at part of the structures within us that we no longer need, and the parts of ourself that we want to start formulating for our essential self. Okay, so the Syrian Stargate is all about our foundation. So it was activated. Anything that was not aligned with our foundation, with what we wanted to create, was activated by the eclipse that happened last spring. Okay, that's the thing. So then another layer came forth of the Syrian Stargate in the fall again. And I think we had just finished Light Body then. And I think what we're doing is we're in a point of assimilation right now. And we're assimilating. We've been working very, 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 very hard for the last year. And we're processing and assimilating everything that we have learned.
That word assimilation to me, and maybe this is a trigger, is about falling into the status quo versus integration, which is about our own individual. I'm just bringing that forward because it feels like that's the energy that's bumping up against Saturn right now.
Okay, assimilation versus integration. Yes, that's what we're doing. We're integrating. Thank you. I really appreciate this because, like I said, I know the last time I talked about Neptune, it was like it was. So what does this? What do we have to learn about that?
I think you're on it. You're on it. Like you're really on it. It's this getting clear with our truth and letting these structures fall away, what's not in alignment anymore. I just feel like there's an activation coming around the Stargate and the Saturn piece.
Well, it's activating, especially actually on your birthday, Louise, you have a big bang coming forth because the Pluto, which is in the very last degrees of Capricorn, are going to be conjunct your sun exactly on the 18th, which will be on your birthday. So it's going to be a big year of transformation for you. That's going to be coming forth.
Going back to the Saturn thing, and I've always considered Saturn to be my mothership, purely because of the structure. But when I'm looking at it now, I'm actually seeing it becoming not smushy, because that implies being sort of out of control, but it's almost as if it's oh shucks, I don't know how to describe this. It's a mobile kind of form. It's an amorphous kind of form that that Saturn is now bringing in. Saturn energy is now bringing in. That's what I'm feeling.
Well, I think would the word fluidity fit?
Yes, thank you. That's the word I was trying to think of.
Or well, the word that came from me is malleable. Does it feel malleable?
Malleable to me implies manipulation. I think fluidity, yes, fluidity.
Perfect.
Well, when Saturn moved into Pisces, okay, remember Saturn, oh, you're right. Okay, the key word to Saturn is structure. It's accountability, it's integrity. But now we have to bring it back of developing our integrity and trusting our intuition. Our accountability has to be through our intuition. It has to be in the moment. It has to, we have to bring it back to that fluidity of, it's not just structure. Saturn, like intuition and structure don't jive, do they?
And this is where the energy, the Saturn energy that's coming forward now is so it's so interesting, because it's a combination of intuition and structure, if you like. It's almost as if you're taking your left and right brain and mushing it together.
That's it. And that's what we're doing for the next 2.5 years. I mean, this year and most of next year, Saturn will be that. But Neptune on the same is also in Pisces. And the last time it was in Pisces was, it was right around, it was 18, right the time of spirituality came in. That was in the late 1800s. So we're going through another wave of, and spirituality has such a, it's oh God, spirituality, it's a buzzword, you know, kind of like that. But we're going to a new level of maybe cosmic awakening to our galactic selves, the truth of who we are, our essential selves, but living that in the moment and structuring our lives so that we can embrace that. This is a time where, you know, I think a practice that has to be brought forth. How many times do you have a strong feeling about something and then you don't act on it? This is a time now to act on that feeling that you have. So it's trusting that inner part of yourself. It's really, really, really important. And I think, Stacey, you had left a message today about trust this year, faith this year, but I don't know, I'm not sure about faith because faith is, to me, hopeful, isn't it? Would you say that faith is hopeful? Like you have, or faith, or is that
Yep.
trusting?
Yeah, it is trust. It's trusting that like the universe will provide. I liked
Yes.
what Christina's response was, and this was just like kind of a message between the facilitator, the Life Body team, just so you know, so you didn't miss anything.
But I think it's essential to what we're talking about.
Yeah, but what Christina said is she reframed it into something around staying in her sacred journey. Like instead of like her, like I was talking about 2024, my theme is last year it was trust, 2023. This year it's more about faith, which is trust, you know, and those sort of things. But what she brought forward is my path or my focus this year or my intention this year is focused more on my staying in alignment with my sacred journey, right? Or honoring my sacred journey. And that really resonated with me because I think what the deeper piece is, we're showing up here because we're on our spiritual path, right? We're on our path and it's staying focused on that. I don't know the right language to use, so I don't know if you remember that part of it. And I mean, Sherry, you listened to that conversation too.
I didn't listen to, there was some vocal things and I didn't have a chance to listen to those, but sacred journey. So what is our sacred journey? Do we all know what that sacred journey is? I think that that's delving deeper into what that really is. And it's kind of like, I think going back to the Arcturians again, how do we surround ourselves? What vibrations and what harmonics do we surround ourselves with? I think that would be a key to it. The Arcturians are coming forth in the fact that how do we live our life on a high frequency level? Who do we associate with? Are they of high frequency? You know, what food do we put into our mouth? What kind of frequency is it? And in preparing our food, what kind of frequency is that? What colors are we choosing to surround ourselves with? That's a light frequency. And Louise, you have the smell, you know, from what I understand, smell is, I think it's I mean, oftentimes in our life, I mean, I can walk through something and a smell will come forth and it will remind me of when I was 6 years old.
Yep.
Something.
Yep. It's part of your the sense of smell hits your most ancient brain, your limbic brain. So that's why it's such a powerful connection with
Oh my
memory.
God, so I'm associating, come to think of it, I'm associating, these were all Neptunian qualities. Actually.
As you're speaking, Rael, and the word harmonics keeps on coming forward.
Yes, it's
Because
all about
to me-
harmonics.
Yes, yes. Whether it's smell, whether it's sound, it's the harmonics, and it's resonating with the harmonics.
So
I don't
yes,
know how to
I'm
say that.
that's what I'm saying. So now I think on our journey throughout this year, as we're dissolving anything that's not aligned with our self frequency is what we have to bring in.
I'm getting so excited.
Oh, you are?
Yes, I am.
Tell me.
Well, I don't know what I'm just seeing all these frequency waves just all syncing,
Yes, that's what
which
we're
is
doing.
where we're
Harmonics.
going.
We are, and it's happening. And we're at the very end of that. I mean, you know, we have our life is ever flowing. It's always changing. It always will. We're always going to be spiraling, the in breath and the out breath. But we are on a level and a frequency right now of creation. And I
Mhm.
think that this creative streak that we are on right now has to do with surrounding ourselves with the right harmonics. Let me see. I'm going to go back to this key of harmonics. And I think that that's what's happening. The frequency from the sun right now is blowing forth this breath of life, and it's activating these origins within us that have been planted in and seated within us at a very, very deep level. And they're opening those up. And I think that if we surround ourselves in the proper harmonics, we can tap into deeper parts of our essence, deeper parts of who we are right now, so that we can discover our truth at a whole new level. Because the truth is always changing as well. But this is what we're doing. We're striving and going forth towards our truth and aligning ourselves. And I guess harmonics, it's structured harmonics, I guess, in a way. And the structure is creating an atmosphere around us so that we can be aligned, it more easily align us with the harmonics that we need to express ourselves. So going back to the galactic center, the galactic portal, not the galactic, I mean the Styrian Stargate. It's very interesting that the next activation of this portal will be happening right around Valentine's Day. Now, I know Valentine's Day is a kind of like an agreed holiday. In America, the Western civilization, I don't know if they, you know, celebrate it other parts of the world or anything like that, but Valentine's Day is the day of the heart. So isn't it interesting that the next activation is really the week before Valentine's Day and exact on Valentine's Day? So it's like a frequency that's opening our heart to another level of ourselves. And anything, and oftentimes when it happens, we're going to get some kind of great awareness of how we want to change our scaffolding and our structures at that time. So another This could be also, Stacy, something that's maybe you were talking about some force that we don't know about. There's going to be a total solar eclipse going across the Western Hemisphere, the North America, on April 8th. And I don't think you'll be able to, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, Louise. I think, Sherry, you're going down to see it, but I think you're going to be in the line of the eclipse, aren't you, Stacy? Isn't Colorado there?
I have no idea. This is the first time I've heard of it. So,
Oh, really? Oh my God.
and I'm not the
Okay.
type, I've never been called to go watch them,
Oh
but
my gosh.
but I tune into the energies. I'm always connected to the
Okay.
energy. So I'm curious about this.
All right. This particular eclipse is happening now in 2017. This total eclipse went across America from where Sherry is, I think, all the way down to the Carolinas. And then there was an eclipse, I think, this fall that it kind of went across the middle of the United States, and it was it wasn't quite total. It was total in some places, but this major eclipse that's happening in April 8th, if anybody can go to an area where they can see it, it's the most magnificent experience you can ever experience. It's going to be going across. So what it's making these pathways of this eclipse is making like a letter A. And I don't know, it came down like this, it crossed like this, and now it's going to cross. It's making an A. And I didn't know what that means or anything, if it means anything. But this eclipse is coming up from New Mexico all the way across the United States through Cleveland and up through Newfoundland. And if you're in the pathway of seeing this, it's just it's truly magnificent. But it's in the sign of Aries, and it's going to be like a mega eclipse of, I think, defining our soul's purpose at a deeper level. Aries has to do with initiating. It's all about a state of initiating the qualities that we want to integrate within our beingness. So that will be happening on April 8th. And then another opening to this Syrian Stargate will be in June. So I don't know what's happening in June for anybody. So these are the points that I know of this year that will be activating it. And then I think the last part of this the ending of this 2-year period will be November of 2024. So, okay, so we have February, June, and the whole thing will be complete in November of 2024. Actually, I think it even goes farther than that, but no, it's not going to be complete until, I'm sorry, January 2025. So our holiday season next year is going to really, all of this is embracing. So getting back to what I was talking about for the Syrian Stargate, some of the things we can do, and I said, trusting our inner authority, meditation is essential to tap into our deepest resources, staying behind our eyes, and these unique gifts, by surrounding us through the harmonics that we need at this time, will be essential. So do you visualize anything more, Louise, of what we're saying?
Nothing that I can articulate right now. I just
Okay.
have this tremendous excitement coming up.
Well, this really is an exciting time. It really, really is. It's a time of letting go. I mean, we are at the last remnants of letting go so that we can start creating this path that we came here. I mean, we have, actually clearing the way. We've been clearing the forest away, clearing all these patterns away so that we can really embody what we came here to embody. I mean, and actually embodying it and letting go of all these parts of ourself that we had was part of this whole process. So that we have done this so that we can radiate. Talking about harmonics, I guess this is harmonics on the collective level. So when we clear this away, our harmonics will radiate this to all those around us. Our energy fields. And I think that our sun is going to be an integral part of this. I think I mentioned this last night because we get this pranic energy from the sun. So the sun symbolically is the center of our particular solar system, but it's also reflected into the sun within our heart and the sun of all suns. It really is. So it's going through a tremendous changes right now. And I heard on the radio that this is going to be a phenomenal year of solar activity. So, that solar, if you think about that, if the sun is reflected into our hearts and it's going through tremendous solar activity, that same is happening within us. And the sun is a lens for all these star systems to come through. And it's radiating that forth. And as it brings its breath of life and it's flowing into us, it's activating our biosuit through our breath, through our skin, through our beingness, through everything around us. It's activating and accelerating our harmonics. It's accelerating us restructuring who we are. It's accelerating our look and seeing what our Akasha has brought us to, our records, our libraries, our ancient libraries that we are connected to for eons and eons. We have the ability to tap all into that. And how do we want to recreate the world around us? I mean, it's not even how, we're just doing it. The fact of the matter is, it's not how, it's not a matter of how, it's a matter of us just doing it. And then we create the world around us. So I guess we're just going to be doing more of what we've been doing. I guess we're all kind of contemplating here. I guess there's a reason why I'm loss of words. I'm serious. It's just like total loss of words.
Now I'm feeling this as like a massive download. There's just so much coming up. There's so much coming in, and I just feel like there's so much getting cleared out with the space you're holding and what you're bringing forward, that it's like it's beyond words. what's coming forward.
Maybe that's it.
Really.
It's beyond words, because my line of least resistance is talking, using my head. And right now, Neptune, you can't, it's not about the mental activity. It's about your essence. That's what Neptune, I guess I'm learning a lot about Neptune. It's about the inner, deepest recesses of who we are. It's about the cosmos.
Wow, I feel like what's happening is it's waking us up to, oh, it's very emotional, waking us up to a deeper level of, it's bringing in clarity for us to be aware of how we're claiming our sovereignty on a deeper level. So it's like bringing in, so like our ego mind can understand it more. There's something coming in around our sovereignty, but it's going to be, light bulbs are going to start to go on. Like we're going to be able to understand it in a 3D way as well.
Yeah, I think so. Well, it's so interesting because when Mars was conjunct the galactic center around the first of the year, you know, it's like I was just being, there were floodgates of info coming through. And actually it was, I don't know how everybody was doing on the first. I don't know, the first day of the year, if anybody had any, because that's when Mars, see, okay, let's talk about Mars a little bit and the galactic center. Mars is an activator. You know, we know the planet, it's a planet of war, but it's also an activator. It's an initiator. And being conjunct the galactic center, it came in on the first day of January, which is not the new year, but it's kind of coinciding with that winter solstice energy. It's bringing in, what is our truth? You know, what is that? And I know Christina in her talks about, if we could say the truth in every single moment of how we interact with people, I don't know how the world would change. I mean, and I'm finding out that, at least in Light Body, when one of us tells the truth, it opens up another person to tell the truth. It's kind of like a domino effect. You know, I have grandchildren, and they're getting to the stage where they don't want to quite tell the truth. You know, Ellison, he'll say, I had my snack at school, but I'm still hungry, or you know, and because he wants another snack, you know, and he knows that he can't really have it. So I said, just come forth. You know, he goes around it, so he's not quite telling the truth. I said, just be direct and tell the truth. And, you know, it's really important to do that. You know, I feel my heart really opening right now. I just,
Yeah, one thing that you're saying about when one of us shares the truth, what I'm noticing and witnessing in my life is that the more I'm showing up in that way, everyone else around me is. Like even like people who I have
yes.
not as close of a relationship with, I've been like reconnecting with some older relationships, you know, and friendships. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they're opening up in new ways that they've never opened up with me before. And I've been communicating the last couple of days with all these different people that again are coming back into my life. And I was like, whoa. And I'm noticing it with my family and the way they're showing up in truth. And it's just, I think because of the space I'm holding, it's allowing them to show up in that way too.
Well, it is. It is. I think it's challenging until it isn't. Go on.
I think that's you made the comment that this year we're going to continue to do what we do, but having an appreciation of the level that we're doing it, I'm seeing us almost like amoebas getting fatter and fatter as we absorb more and more, and inviting others, being more transparent with our own harmonics, which then invites others to come and match. And it's the way I'm looking at it is like when you are blending essential oils, different essential oils vibrate at different frequencies, and as you blend them, they start matching each other's frequencies, and you end up with a synergy that is greater than the whole. And I'm seeing that's where we are going this year is yeah, you can, you can sit and say, oh, same old, but it's not, because it's at such a incredibly vast level that we are starting to function and starting to invite the collective to match. So
Yes.
rather than we are staying true to ourselves and within ourselves, and instead of going out and saying you will match, we are showing this is what I've got. What let's join together if that's what you want to do.
Well, as you're talking, Louise, what that brings up in me, and the frequency, we have a DNA system within us and that DNA system within us has different shadowings of the star systems. And I think what you're saying with the essential oils, you're bringing the notes with this one and that one together to create this. I believe that these structures within us are the same thing. The combination, and each of us have a different combination of the starseed origins. Okay. And what's happening is that fine tuning this awareness within us is opening up the notes within us so that we can express this true consciousness of that. And as we do that, our radiance will affect those around us. It's almost the same thing that you're saying. So we're opening up to those notes. We're opening up to a symphony within ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
The symphony is being created.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because, my symphony is a little bit different than yours, but when they blend together, it's like this, you hear all this harmonic sound, a big, all over the planet, harmonics. I think the Arcturians, that they've been coming forth. I think that's really the Starseed Nation is coming forth with all this, the harmonics, and the Syrians. Yes, come to think of it, if we change our harmonics, it's changing our scaffolding, it's changing our structures. And we've done a lot of work in the last year. I think, Louise, going back to that, I think what we're doing is, I think we're going to still be eliminating some of the stuff that we have been, but I think we're going into a deep state of integration. And I think that's what we're doing. Do you ever hear the sound of the earth? It's kind of like I hear that right now. It's kind of like a roar in my ears. The sound of us. Does anybody have that tones in your ears?
I'm not witnessing or experiencing tones. I am experiencing what Louise is experiencing, which is a coalescing of energies. Some of it is like sacred geometry being redesigned, coming together. Some of it is like it's actual energetic, like energy waves that are coalescing. So that's how I'm seeing things. I'm seeing it, not hearing it.
But there is, it's almost real, and I'm almost sensing like there's a heartbeat behind it. I'm not hearing it, but
Yes,
I'm
yes, yes,
sensing
yes.
this heartbeat behind it.
Oh, I I feel that and I see it actually. So let's just get behind our eyes for a minute, close our eyes, and we're going to just feel our heartbeat. Pull your energy behind your eyes. And if you haven't already, bring your Viracocha down to cocoon your body, your whole essence and form. And bring your attention to your beating heart. And give great gratitude and love for that heart and the spark of life within it, for animating the essence of who you are, your life force. And through the love and appreciation of through your heart, send your love to the Pachamama who holds you. And has dreamed you into this divine experience for her expression of life at this time. and know that she is giving you all that you need to express the greatest quality of who you are in your multidimensional life. And give great gratitude and love to our solar discs, our sun, for its benevolent, life giving force to animate all that the mother has to give on every dimension. And traveling through that radiant disk of our sun, right to our galactic center, the center of truth, the center of our Milky Way. The truth of the mother, the truth of creation, the truth of birth and manifestation. So bring that truth of the mother, of the Milky Way, all the way through the divine feminine, through the sun disk, and straight into your heart, and anchor this beauty, benevolence, love, appreciation, manifestation, integration, expansion, all of that for you to express on the Pachamama. Listen to the melody of your heart. It is the way. So echo your name all around you, 360 degrees in the sphere in every direction. And slowly, slowly come back. So thank you, everyone. Watching me go through my Neptunia experience. But it was good. I really appreciate Louise and Stacy helping me, you know, kind of define what was happening. But it's so ironic. I didn't realize until I started talking about Neptune. I think I did a talk on Neptune about a year ago or a year and a half ago, and the same thing happened. So it's the energy.
Well, thank you for bringing forward the energy that you did.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you. And it feels like, with the breaths, they'll be actually even more potent doing the
Yes.
breaths every day, right?
Oh, it is. Well, meditation's really essential right now. It really is. Because what will happen when you meditate, even if you don't do all of the breaths, even if you meditate every day, what happens is then in your everyday activities, it spills over into contemplation as you're doing whatever you're doing. So you're in a continual state of meditation then, and reflection and contemplation. So it takes you to that space. I guess this talk today actually revealed some of my structures that I'm trying to eliminate, and that's me being in my head. Really, I mean, it was like full force. Talk about that scaffolding that I need to transform or am transforming. And thank you all for holding me in that space.
Oh, we're in this together.
We are. I'm so grateful.
That song, "We Are Family," is coming up in my head as
Yes.
as we're saying that. Thank you, Ray.
Thank you.
Always bring such an incredible perspective forward. It really helps. It really helps.
Well, thank you. Hey, let's see. Powerful Day will be January 18th. And I may see you before the week of the Syrian Stargate. So that ought to be interesting, where it will be activated again. We're in it, but there's going to be another, activation. And I guess here's to all you creating your wonderful compositions, your song of life.
That was actually a beautiful analogy that it wasn't an analogy, but that was just a beautiful concept that you brought forward.
Mm-hmm. Well, blessings to you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you.